All right, welcome to our sports picks. It's Monday morning, January 15th. This is the Loshak the Bag Show for Monday, January 15th. He's Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak, and we are going to try to have a winning week this week. Jimmy the Bag.
It was the worst week that I've had since I came down to Costa Rica in October.
Is it, huh? Is it?
It
Well,
was.
I'll tell you one thing. I always talk about how, like, the beginning of January is not good for me in college basketball. Now, I don't know if I've turned my corner in college basketball, but I will say that on Sunday, a couple of games started to jump out at me the way that games start to jump out at me, in February. And so I'm hoping to have turned a corner in college basketball. Of course, we do have college basketball games that start in the afternoon today, and of course, it is Martin Luther King Day, so we have a ton of NBA games in the afternoon, early games in NHL, and I'm looking for. I'm feeling strangely. I have no idea why, Jimmy the Bag. I'm feeling strangely confident and positive about this upcoming week in sports betting for us. Jimmy the Bag.
It's nice to hear. I'm barely sleeping and very angry.
All right. I am also going to, just for today's show, I am going to try to read the comments on my computer here, which means that we'll be using live lines instead of lines just as of 12 o'clock Eastern time. So if anyone's doing any kind of long-term auditing of us, we normally do use just the strict lines that exist at 12 o'clock Eastern time. But for today's show, we're going to use live lines that might change during the show, like we do in the afternoon show, and we'll see how that goes, Jim. So I'm just going to try to find the link here for our show today, and then I'll bring up the comments, and then we'll start off the show, try to pick some winners, get some great advice from our regular guest commenters in the chat box. Jim, while I pull the chat box up, do you have anything, general thoughts as we start this week off? What's going through your head? How you feeling, Jimmy the Bag? What's going through your head, Jim?
I feel sick. I feel fucking sick. And I don't get colds. I don't get flus. It's a different fucking sickness that I have right now.
Really?
I feel it in my stomach.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I mean, there are ups and downs in sports betting, of course, which is why you have to bet size appropriately. And even the pros don't have ROIs of more than 4 or 5% in the minor markets or in the major markets as well. So we'll see what we can do this week. I'm just pulling up the chats here. I'm pulling up the chats here. Let me just see what your first comment is. Was from Paulo Marquez. Hello, good week, Jim and Pete.
Yeah.
Okay, great, excellent. Paulo Marquez, great comment to start off the week. Thank you so much, Paulo Marquez. All right, let's jump into the show because we have a lot of early games to get to. I think we're going to start with the NBA, right, Jimmy the Bag?
Anything you want. I've got all NBA, NHL, and I got all the afternoon college ball back.
My NBA record is super shitty, so let's not throw up. No, pull it back down, No, all right, it's up. No, it's okay. Okay, yeah. I was just gonna say, okay, just for one day. Just let me see if I can have a winning day in NBA, and just for one day, we'll put it up tomorrow. But just for today, let's not show the NBA record, okay? And I admit it's shitty, and that's why we're not showing it, for me. Jimmy the Bag's still positive in NBA, though. And also the reason I wanted this is because I think I am seeing some stuff that I'm liking. I guess let's start with the 12:30 game, Charlotte against Detroit. Jimmy the Bag, first of all, I'm thinking about unders here, and Detroit, of course, has been a little shaky on the road, but remarkably good at home. Is Detroit maybe not a good bet here? The line is headed down in the opposite direction. It's now 2.5 or 3, down from 3.5, which it was earlier. But is Detroit not a good bet here? And what do you think about unders, Jim?
Well, first off, I, too, like the way the Pistons have been playing at home, but it's tough when you watch them on the road to still back them at home. They're coming off a 107-105 loss to the Bulls on Saturday night. This team goes wherever Tobias Harris really takes them these days. He's the only guy getting buckets consistently, and when he's off, they lose. He went 3 for 14 for 7 points in a loss to the Bulls, still averaging 24.7 points a game over the last or the 3 prior to that. The Pistons are 12-4 when he scores over 20. The Pistons are 2-4 in January. In their 4 losses, they've allowed an average of 111 points per game. But as you say, they've looked much better at home. They're still 5th in the league, allowing just 101.5 points per game. Hornets are coming off a 101-91 home loss to the Thunder on Saturday night, where you can give them the excuse of being on the second half of a back-to-back. They just only put up 32 points in that second half. Kemba Walker has to take advantage of Ish Smith. He has to take advantage of Reggie Jackson being out. But he's been a difficult guy to trust as well. Pistons have won 5 of the last 6 meetings, and the Hornets have looked bad on the road all year at 5 for 13. So I like the Pistons here, but I can't say that I'm extremely confident in them.
Okay, well, I'm going to take the under on this one. I bet it at 205. It's now down to a 204, 203.5 market wide. I'll take the Pinnacle line, 204 minus 109 on the under. Feels like it's going to be that kind of a game. Charlotte, of course, can be very low scoring. With Kemba Walker back, are you okay with taking Charlotte unders, or do you think he enhances their scoring significantly?
They're just a tough team to figure out. I just can't see. We had a good read on them when they played a banged-up Jazz team, when we knew that this Jazz team was not going to be able to hack Howard at every possible spot. Let's see here. In a spot like that, it would be great to have Tobias Harris's stats in games that start before 1 p.m., Dan Kelly says. He's a young guy. I still think that the problem with the Pistons, they just don't have enough scoring options. But then I like the Drummond-Howard matchup quite a bit. I mean, it's hard not to like that. All right, well, I'm taking the full game under, and I'm going to double up on it. The first half under is 104 minus 110. That's the current line at UWager and Bet365. Other places are headed down as well. So I'm on the full game under 204 and the first half under 104 minus 110. Jimmy the Bag, do you want? We got a lot to cover today. Yes, I'll take the Pistons.
You want it? You want the Pistons? Yeah. Okay, on the spread.
Yes.
Okay, best line would be minus 2.5, minus 108. Again, that is headed down. So Jim's going to take minus 2.5, minus 108. Yeah, I was thinking about taking the
Reggie says he had the over and to you, but he says he feels like it looks like I'm on the wrong side. The line is crashing down right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Overall this year in NBA, especially recently, if you've been on the opposite side of me, and more often than generally, you've been on the right side. But I feel like I bet the over at 205. It's now down to 204. I took the under, and I'll take the first half under as well. And yeah, it feels like the Pistons, that's got to be a lean for me, but I guess I'm going to hold off on this one. They're just an unreliable team, aren't they, Jim?
Yeah, but I think you banged it right off the very top. The first thing you said was the dichotomy or the huge difference between them at home and on the road, and I think that's an extremely important point, and that point alone gives me enough confidence to take the Pistons. Okay, now let's move on to the 1 o'clock game, Toronto and Philly. This game did not have an overnight line, so I did not have a chance to look at it. Do you have a chance to look at this game, Jim? Oh yeah, got them all.
Okay, let's hear what you have to say about Toronto Philly, because I have nothing to say. No overnight line on this one.
Well, the Raptors have beaten the Sixers all 3 meetings this year in 18 of 19. DeMar DeRozan put up 45 in the 102-86 win the last time these two teams met on December 23rd. The Raptors are coming off the 127-125 home loss to the Warriors on Saturday night. Philly native Kyle Lowry's missed the last 3 games with a back injury, questionable to play tonight. Sixers are coming off their 114-103 loss to the Celtics in London on Thursday, so hopefully there'll be a little jet lag with them. They held a 22-point lead before the Celtics came back and went easily. They're first in rebounding and third in assists, but they're 22nd in the league, allowing 108.1 points per game. They're just 9-10 at home, have not looked good at home all year. Currently on the outside looking in on the playoff picture. My initial response was, man, I like the under here, but then the line shot up, so all this money was coming on the over. But my initial feeling was, when Embiid has to go against other bigs, he tries to take more threes. He tries to stay out of the lane, tries to stretch him. He'll be doing that against Valanciunas. But I just feel like Valanciunas is going to force the issue down low and keep banging bodies with them and try to slow the game down. Toronto should try and slow the game down. Let's see what's going on here. Triple Beam says Toronto is so solid. Please talk me off them. Otherwise, I'm laying the points. Yeah, everyone seems to be liking Toronto here. Again, I just did not have a chance to look at this game because there was no overnight line. There were 3 games in the overnight lines. 2 of them are in the nighttime, and I'll look at them in the interim between now and 6 o'clock, but just have nothing to say with that one. What do you have to say? You want to make a pick here, Jim? No, I'm uncomfortable with this game. I understand what you guys see in the Raptors. I don't feel comfortable taking them at a favorite spot right now without Lowry. Now, maybe Lowry does play. He's a Philly native, as we said. But I also have a lean towards the under, and everybody's taking the over. So I just feel confused about this game. Blake Kersey's on 76ers first half and full game. Sean Thompson says Toronto should cash. McGroxter says over is skyrocketing. What is it at right now? Is it over 220 now?
Which one?
Over?
In the Toronto Philly game, it is. Yeah, it's 220.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot, and I'm going to leave it alone.
Okay, let's just do this in a chronological order then. Milwaukee and Washington, certainly an interesting one. Milwaukee, of course, on a back-to-back, got blown out yesterday. Do they bounce back here against Washington? Washington, obviously a quality team. They have lost 5 in a row ATS, though, just kind of underperforming their spreads over the past bunch of games. What do you think? Is this a bounce-back spot for Milwaukee early or not? Milwaukee, of course, Giannis can do whatever he can, but they do have a vulnerable bench, don't they, or a weak bench?
Certainly Certainly do. There is some quick information that I should mention that Blake Kersey says Lowry is playing.
Okay.
God, I think that makes that Raptors spot look really good. We'll have time to come back to it, I hope, later in the show. We also have a guy, SM, who's new to our live chat. Says, what's up, guys? Been watching your show for a while now. Thank you for joining us on the live chat.
Yes, thanks so much, SM.
I have... Well, let's before we break it, let's break it down a bit. The Wizards are coming off the 119-113 overtime win over the Nets. The Nets outscored them 68-48 in the second half, like it's been happening all year long, like we've talked about nonstop. Wizards are 15-8 at home. This is the 5th game of a 5-game homestand that started with a 110-103 Bucks victory. And Antetokounmpo went off for 34 points and 12 boards in that game. The Bucks were able to hold Wall and Beal to just 12 for 38 shooting in that game. Since that win, the Bucks have lost 3 of 4. Each loss has been by at least 13 points. They got beaten up bad yesterday in Miami, 97-79. They shot just 31.6% from the field. Back-to-back day games, a rarity. The Bucks will likely be tired, and they're 8-12 on the road. I have to think this is a good spot for the Wizards. Reggie says, I love the under in this game. Corey Kelly says, Wizards first half. Gogster says, I would lean Washington first half. All In says, Milwaukee's playing very bad in the last few games, and they are. Sean Thompson likes the over. Vital says, Wizards are a blowout. They win by 9 or more.
I like the under in the Washington Nets game, and that one actually did sneak under in regulation, but then, of course, went over in overtime. I was thinking about the under here as well. What do you think about the total, Jim? I would be agreeing, but someone at Sean Thompson likes the over, right?
Yeah. Let me see. What is the over at right now?
It's 215, so it's up there.
It's a nice high over.
Yeah.
The problem is yes, I think the Bucks will play that kind of a game, but the Wizards, it's hard to count on them to go under. You know. Let's see. Is there any more Wizards play down to their competition? I believe that's what Jerushin is saying. Washington first half is the play, says Searcy. Washington first half and first quarter, says Chris Watson.
Everyone likes Washington here, so they think that Milwaukee's not going to come back off the blowout and step it up at least to start.
They have not looked good since they beat this Wizards team. Searcy says Washington flops in the fourth quarter for some reason. I think we know the reason, Searcy, Justin. It's just that they don't have a bench. Their bench is so weak. They got Mike Scott's the only guy coming off the bench putting in any buckets with any regularity. So they're Beal and Wall are tired in the fourth quarter. You know?
All right, I'm gonna agree with Reggie here. I'm gonna take the under. I'm only gonna take it on the full game though. Not gonna take it on the first half as well. I'm gonna take Milwaukee Washington under 215 minus 106. Under 215 minus 106. That's the best line on the under. I'm agreeing with Reggie, although others are on the over. Right? Sean Thompson says he likes the over. Wondering why he likes the over.
Yeah, Sean, if we could get some more info on why you're liking it, WizBucks over for me, he says. I'd love to hear that as well.
Eric Hamburg says, Loshak looks like the backside of my nutsack with that stash. Ew.
I've never seen the backside of his nutsack.
That's the comment right here, Eric Hamburg. You know I'm going to say it, so I have to read all the comments. That's one of the things we do in this show. We read the comments. All right, let's get back to handicapping.
You know, Hamburg, you best.
Should I have ignored that comment
no, it's okay,
there?
You best trim the backside of your nutsack, Eric.
Thank you, Eric Hamburg, for a wonderful comment to break the monotony of our handicapping.
Smooth is on you. Says Washington, great call under.
Yeah, I'm on the under, and
Washington
and that's it.
And under says Mela Payless Way.
Okay, Al Hard says under. Blake Kersey says I got to go Bucks here. Russell Beiswanger says I like the under in this game as well. Okay, I'm taking the under. Jimmy the Bag, what are you going to do on this game? Anything?
Yeah, I think that under is a good spot. I mean, I'm much more comfortable with this under than the Raptors Sixers under, which was a lean for me as well. Saying all that, I think that is the play, and I'll make it a full game under as well.
All right, let me see. For a full game under 215, that's right, Washington. 215, under 215, minus 106. All right, one very quick comment, then we'll get back to a handicapping.
Eric does say, love you, brother.
Oh, thank you very much, Eric Hamburg. JD the Third says, my brother saw Loshak for the first time the other day and thought his stash was fucking legendary. That's what I'm trying to tell these broads, but I might have to shave this shit, Jim, because for several broad reasons. related reasons, and I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. All right, so let's see.
Dan Kelly has interesting stuff from his spreadsheets. He's focused on start time for many years. He says predictable observations on early start times. Defensive teams don't play defense. Offensive teams don't shoot well.
Very interesting. All right, so we have so that means Detroit and Charlotte maybe isn't a good under because Detroit's a defensive team, aren't they?
They are, but they seem to be there's no consistency in the way they play defense right now.
Yeah.
I like Drummond and Dwight going banging down low, and that will slow down the game. That will lead to an under.
Okay, so Jim's going to take the under on that one. I'm on the under, and a bunch of other people are liking the under as well. Now let's move up to the 3 o'clock games. We got the Knicks and the Nets and San Antonio, Atlanta. Let's start with the Knicks and Nets. This is a game that I bet, Jim. I did take Brooklyn here. The Knicks looking a little bit lethargic, right? I took it at, I believe, 2.5, or maybe I bought down to 2. Feels like a good spot for Brooklyn, and maybe on the first half and the full game. What do you think?
I think this is a really nice spot for Brooklyn. I'm on it as well.
Okay.
I haven't sent it in yet. I'll do that after the show. The Knicks are a dreadful 4-15 on the road. We know this isn't really that much of a road game when they come to Brooklyn. They won 111-104 there on December 14th. Their 4 road wins is tied for the fewest in the league with the Jazz and Hawks, averaging just 99.5 points on the road. They're on the second half of a back-to-back after blowing a 19-point lead and losing in overtime 123-118 to the Pelicans yesterday. That's why it feels like such a good spot. I think that took a lot out of them. They're just 3-10 since Porzingis came back from his knee injury, 4-11 in their past 15. Porzingis is averaging 20.2 points in those games, but he's shooting 37% from the field. Yesterday was the kind of day that he's been having constantly. He scored 25 points, but was just 1 for 7 for 3 points in the fourth quarter in overtime. Brooklyn's 5-11 since they lost to the Knicks. In games decided by 5 points or less, though, the Nets are 9-8. They're 9-13 at home. I think this is a good spot for Brooklyn. Searcy says Brooklyn wins.
Yeah, I mean the other thing is that except for the Detroit game, Brooklyn has been absolutely money ATS game in and game out. Now I'm just unbelievably snake bit in the NBA. Maybe I'll bring up some of my losing picks from Friday to give an example of that. So that was one time when I bet big on the Nets and they lost. Every other game around that they were covering. But I'm liking the Nets here. I'm going to take them on the first half -1, -115. The line is up to 2.5 or 3 on the full game. So I'm going to take the money line, which is right now -140 at a bookmaker. So I'm taking the Nets first half -1, -115, and on the money line -140. That is the current money line on bookmaker. What do you want to do with this game, Jim?
I'm going to take them on the spread. I think they can take care of business here.
Okay, just the full game spread, just one way, right, Jim?
Yeah.
All right, best line would be -2.5, -110. Nets -2.5, -110. That's the current line at a bookmaker and a few other places.
Reggie says this is a rivalry and this is the Nets championship game to them. I mean, I don't know if I go quite that far, but I totally, I do agree with you, Reggie. I completely agree with you with the rivalry. This is a big deal to them.
Yeah.
I agree.
And all right, so I'm going to take that one. And now let's move on to the Spurs Atlanta game. And Atlanta, of course, the worst team in the NBA in terms of their record, but they have been a good bet at certain points over the past last 10 games or so. Kawhi Leonard, of course, back for the Spurs, which obviously is a bonus, but it's also going to inflate their lines. I actually bet Atlanta at 7.5. I was thinking maybe that's a good spot for them. Would not take them on the first half here, but I'm thinking maybe with Leonard back, line's getting a little bit inflated, and Atlanta not quite as bad as people think. I don't know. I'm thinking Atlanta here. What do you think, Jim?
It actually was my first feeling when I broke this game down.
Right.
But I don't have the balls to make it. But I like the play here. Kawhi Leonard returned from his shoulder injury and put up 19 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals in their 112-80 win over the Denver Nuggets. It was just the 6th time all year that the Spurs had their projected starting lineup together. Danny Green also returned after missing 10 games with a groin ailment. They are now only missing Rudy Gay from their lineup. Hawks have lost 5 of 6, coming off a 110-105 home loss to the Nets on Friday night. Schroeder put up a career-high 34 points, but missed 2 late layups and turned the ball over with 5 seconds left, averaging 20.1 points, 6.6 assists. Loss drops them to 7-12 at home. They are expected to get Marco Bellinelli back, but continue to be without DeAndre Bembry. Hawks coach Mike Budenholzer worked as an assistant in San Antonio for 19 years.
So you think now with Leonard back, the Spurs just go to another level maybe and start going on a run where they're just blowing everyone out by 20 points home and away?
No, I do not trust Pop to do that. So no. But It's a tricky spot. I mean, here we got Al Hart says Spurs over. Hako Schofield says Spurs will kill Atlanta. Jerushin says Atlanta sucks. And then Corey Kelly says never know with Coach Pop.
I was also thinking about the under on this one, and I did bet that one a little bit too at 206. It's now down to 205 or 204.5. Definitely Al Hard says Spurs over, so he likes the over. Sean Thompson says Atlanta just feels right. I like that Loshak felt the same way. I was thinking that thinking maybe a shot with Atlanta and maybe a bit of a stronger shot with the under. What do you think about the total, Jim? You have anything to say about the total on this one?
I can understand. If I had a lean, it would be towards the under. But I'm going to stay off this game. Now, the one fun thing about these games in the afternoons, we can make plays during the day. So that will be something I'll look into.
Well, not this one because it starts at 3 o'clock Eastern time. So unless you tweet it out, it'll be already done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which you did try to do once, Jimmy. That you tried to make a pick on a game that already started.
Well, remember? I had begun talking about it.
What?
I just started talking about it.
Yeah, you tried to give an opinion, a breakdown. No, I'm kidding, right? That was funny as hell. Yeah, I understand. Here, look at this from Marcus Woods. Even after a losing week, the Low Bag Show is the best damn capping show online, period. The way you guys break games down and give insight, nobody does it better, fellas. SBR should be glad to have you two guys. I completely agree. SBR isn't glad to have us, but, that's fine. That's fine. Whatever. What really matters to us is these comments. You know what I'm saying? These comments. I'm just sitting here waiting for the singularity. 2029, boys. All right. So, what do you want to do with this game, Jim? I'm talking about the singularity here because I don't want to. I'm trying to buy some time, and I'm procrastinating making an actual pick or pass on this game.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on this game.
Okay. Justin Searcy says Spurs have been wildly inconsistent on the road. Yeah. And then Taco Schofield says Pete takes Spurs, easy money. Chris Watson says Atlanta covers the game. I'm thinking about that under. One final. Just give me one final thought on the total, Jimmy the Bag.
Well, I mean, I think this is going to be a big game for Atlanta and a game that the Spurs don't care as much about. I do think that when these bigs, this is a huge deal to Dedmon to go up against these guys, and I think he will be playing all out. When you think of this Spurs front line, they are thoughtful. They don't just run the floor and throw up alley-oops to each other. They're older and thoughtful, so they slow the pace down. My lean would be under.
I'm going to take the under. I bet it at 206. If I didn't give it any cash, I'd be like, there's another friggin' lean that I like that I didn't give. I'm going to take the under. Best line right now would be 205 minus 110 at the Greek. I'll take it. Again, just the full game, not the first half, although the first half is very tempting as well. And interestingly, the first half is now only at 98, which makes me think that might be the best way to go. You know what? I will take that one. I think Atlanta's going to try to really play defense. The Spurs will be like, fine, we'll play a slow pace game, whatever. Atlanta's going to try to keep it close, at least to start, right?
Absolutely, they are.
All right, I'm going to take the first half under as well. Best line is 98.5 at Bet365. First half under 98.5. Wouldn't it be awesome if I went 12-1 in the NBA and all these picks I'm giving out, Jim?
I believe that you can.
Man,
I like that full game under.
Yeah, 205 minus 110, and the first half under 98.5 minus 110. Jim, if you want to jump on, you can, but we can't dawdle too much because we do have a whole lot of other shit to cover today, Jim.
Yes.
I know it's tough.
I'm gonna move on right now, and hopefully, if we have a couple minutes left, I'll go back to it.
Okay, now let's move on to a Miami-Chicago. Miami again on the back-to-back. They blew out Milwaukee yesterday, and Chicago's starting to play a little bit better now. The line has actually moved in Miami's favor, though. I was thinking Chicago might be a pick here. I actually bet them at -1. It's now still -1 at some places, but also now pick them or +1 at other places. So clearly the line moving a little bit in Miami's favor, which is kind of interesting. What do you have to say about this one, Jim?
I just love the way that they're playing right now, and
Miami.
Miami. I just think it's a very tough, defensive-minded game. They have a lot of depth, even though they're still dealing with injuries. They're coming off the 97-79, a home win over the Bucks yesterday. It was their 7th straight win. Dragic has moved this game up to a different level. 25 points in the win. Now averaging 20.8 points, 5.4 boards, 5.4 assists over his last 5. They're just a half game behind the Cavaliers for third place in the East. Bulls have won 2 straight, 3 of 5. They welcome back Zach LaVine to their lineup. Hoiberg wants his team to get out and run. He says, now we have the wings that I expected us to have, that I thought we were going to have this year, and I want our team to be running. But Zach's still going to be on a minutes restriction. I just think that the Heat are playing too good right now, and I have to back them and believe that their winning streak will continue, and I'm going to back them. Even though, also, the way the game broke down, they did get a chance to rest some of the guys in the fourth against the Bucks. I just really like the way that they're playing, and I'm going to take them.
We already got someone asked about the 1 o'clock NHL game, which we will get to. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We just got 4 more NBA games to play. So you're going to take Miami here, Jim?
I am.
All right, Miami, and we'll give you +1, -110. Again, it's all over.
You know what? I'll take the money line if I
can. Let's see. The money line on that one for Miami, best line would be -105.
Okay, no, I'll take +1.
All right, +1, -110. +1, -110. All right, let's move on. Lakers and Memphis. Someone already mentioned that they like the over in the Lakers-Memphis game. Lakers have suddenly started winning and playing low-scoring games. Strong defensively, although the drama internally is still there, right? How does that affect them? I guess not. Maybe it's helping them, right? All of a sudden, they've covered 4 in a row, getting some nice wins. Memphis struggling a little bit. What's your take on this one, Jim?
Well, I don't believe in this Lakers squad. Mainly because in their win, they lost 3 players to injuries. Lonzo Ball had a minor knee sprain. Brandon Ingram had a minor ankle sprain. Larry Nance may be dealing with a concussion. That was an impressive 107-101 overtime win over the Dallas Mavericks, but we've seen what happens when they lose guys. Even though this team has a lot of young players, you'd think they have a lot of depth, but they did not look good when they were dealing with the Ball injury and the Lopez injury at the same time. Julius Randle went off for 23 points, 15 boards, 5th double-double in his last 8 games. He's playing impressively. But I like the Grizz here. I like them at home. I like them in this spot. They've beaten the Lakers 6 straight times at home. Tyreek Evans is coming off a disappointing 12-point performance. I love backing him after bad performances. In that 87-78 loss to the Nuggets, he's still averaging 22 points, 5 boards, 5 assists over his last 5 games, even with that 12-point performance. Conley's been ramping up the activity in practice. That's going to help just in the dressing room. Chandler Parsons will be day-to-day with a knee injury for the rest of his life. I don't know if he's going to play tonight. He's questionable right now. I still think the Grizzlies are a spot that I'm going to take.
So you want it as a pick, huh?
Yes.
All right, it's up from 2. It's now 2.5 or 3, so -2.5, -107. We got some people agreeing with you. And even though Memphis has been struggling recently, they've actually covered 5 out of the last 7. They've been covering spreads, and yeah, let's find the comments here. Vitala says pass on Lakers, but reports they can't stand playing for Luke Walton. I mean, yeah, there's all those. Mr. Cloudkick says wise guys are on the Lakers game under. Yeah, I mean the Lakers have been going very low scoring recently, although they met at the end of December and it was a 109-99 win by Memphis. So you don't think there's a revenge minded that Lakers are going to be revenge minded?
No,
yeah, because
no,
there's too much internal turmoil for that. Yeah,
I still am not on the 100% belief that there's all this internal turmoil. I mean, Magic Johnson and Jeannie Bussey just backed him publicly. I think it's something that LeVar Ball's created, and I'm not saying it's not happening. Obviously, I don't know, but I'm leaning. I would definitely lean towards it just being bullshit. No, I like the Grizzlies, and I think that we're going to find value with them moving forward, and this is another spot where I find value. Tomor says Memphis is still weak at the point with Harrison. Weak offensively, but, you know, Tyreek and Mark handle most of the offense, and he's a very good defensive point guard.
There you go. Ron Fig, a big fan, Jimmy the Bag. Ron Fig comes in with a good point. Memphis sucks.
Yeah, I just think we're going to find value, and here's a perfect spot with a team on a 4-game winning streak. I really like this play. It was a play that I liked.
Antoine Seymour says Ball is out tonight. I know he was questionable, so apparently he's out. That's
going to hurt the Lakers. It's going to hurt them. Now we thought earlier in the year that maybe he wasn't. You know, obviously his numbers weren't but he wasn't the best point guard on his own team. But then we saw what they were like with him out of the lineup. He's had games where he scored 5 points, but puts up 11 boards and 11 assists, and looks good. It's a big loss to them.
All right, so Jim's going to take a Memphis -2.5. I would agree with that, but I'm just gonna hold off on that one a little bit, mostly because it's like I didn't bet it, and so it won't necessarily be a no balls play. All right, let's keep moving on. Big game of the night: Golden State and Cleveland. Now remember, everyone was debating that Cleveland-Indiana game, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Cleveland did bounce back because they did cover like the first quarter and the first half, but then the collapse came, and it turned out that Indiana plus the points, despite a lot of people, insightfully saying that Indiana was a big trap there for the public, did wind up cashing. And in the end, on full game spreads, Native Queen was right that the Cleveland is just a complete mess. And she's fading them until further notice.
Yeah.
And here they are at home catching 5.5 points. When was the last time Cleveland was a 5.5 point home underdog, Jim? At home. At home, they're an underdog of 5.5 points. What do you make of this game, Jim?
Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the under in this game. I love taking the under on Warriors games, and I've found good spots to do that. And I've had them on the over a couple times recently as well. But overall, in the last couple of years, I've done really well finding the spots to take the under. And I think this is a really good spot because of all the issues the Cavs are having. And Cavs have lost 3 straight, 7 of their last 9. In Isaiah Thomas's last 3 games in the lineup, they've allowed an average of 129 points a game. Even if they were to allow 115 or 118 points, I still think this game will go under. As Dan Kelly brought up earlier that I guess this isn't an afternoon game, but there's going to be a lot of pressure. I don't expect the shooters to shoot the lights out in tonight's game. Yeah, a lot of back and forths here. Desi Lathan says Warriors going to fuck Cleveland up. Let's see. Blake Kersey says Cavs, 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 all in undercase letters, but still 3 times. Cavs, Cavs, Cavs. Unreal Cavs melt. Paul Spart says fading Cleveland. So back and forths on this one. More people seem to be liking Golden State than Cleveland for sure. Jarunska says Cleveland first quarter over. Cleveland first quarter over. Okay, that might be good. Mark Bue says Cleveland as dogs, always a good bet, all in caps. So back and forth on this one. Tom Marino says I don't think Cleveland can defend Golden State with Thomas and Love on the court at the same time. You know what? This guy, who said that? Jarunska says Cleveland first quarter over. That might be just a simple great play there, Jim. Although it's going to be a high total, but still. Yeah, I get it. I just think this is a huge line all the way up to 234 and a half at some points. Yeah. I like taking
Sean
the
Thompson
under
says, I fucking hate the Cavs with this. I think this is the side. All right, Jim, what are you going to do on this game?
I'm on the full game under.
You're on the full game under?
Yeah.
Under. Okay, let me find it. Let's see. Golden State and Cleveland under, and the best line would be 234 and a half minus 105. That's current line at Pinnacle. 234 and a half minus 105. All right. I'd love to discuss all these games more in depth, but we got to move on. We got to get to NHL, of course. Sacramento and OKC. OKC starting to win. Sacramento, terrible. Out of 7 of their last 8 games, they have lost ATS, right? They went over in 6 of those games as well. I was thinking maybe a shot was over here, but the total's gone down. It was 210 and a half. Now it's down to 209, and so I think I'm going to pass on this one. What do you think, Jim?
I am going to pass on this one too at this point, and we'll look at it all afternoon as well.
Yes.
And we got the college card, but Thunder stopped their 3-game losing streak with a 101-91 win at Charlotte. They're just 3 games over 500, but are 14-7 at home. Andre Robertson will miss his 8th straight game with left knee tendonitis. They're 3-7 without him in the lineup. He's returned to practice, but is not ready to play. Terrence Ferguson has started in this place. In the last 4 games, he's gone 3 for 17 from the floor for 8 points. Kings have lost 4 straight, 2-9 in their last 11. They're now last in the NBA in both offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency, yet they play really good in clutch. That is so fucked up. George Hill came back, put up 2 points in 19 minutes. What is wrong with him? I'm no longer a fan of his. I'm so disappointed in how he's played this year. He's got to show heart and try and lead this team, and he's not doing any of that. They brought up Malachi Richardson from the G League. He should not have left Syracuse after 1 year. I think the spread is too high, and I just don't like it. I just don't feel comfortable taking it and trusting the Thunder. Although I think this is one of those games where the Thunder could hold the Kings to a real low score.
All right, well, we can look at this game more. It is an 8 o'clock game. We'll be doing a 6 o'clock show. Not a lot to cover, so we can get into more in depth into these NBA games. You want to give a pick or a pass, Jim?
I do think that the Thunder can hold them to a low score, and they're good at doing that at home, even without Robertson. So I think the under is the play here.
Okay.
Let's just see what Tom wants to say quickly.
209.
OKC has been much better at home against bad teams. They need this game because they have Sacramento's been trash on the road. Yeah. And Native Queens on the first half, second half under. I'm going to take the full game under on Kings Thunder.
Okay, Jim's going to take OKC under 209 minus 105. That's the line at Pinnacle. All right, Jim, we got to go college basketball and NHL. So the other 2 games didn't have overnight lines. Indiana, Utah, Houston Clippers. Do you have a pick on either of those?
I'm on the Rockets. I'm on the Rockets. Chris Paul returning to LA for the first time. Clippers now have Blake Griffin and Teodosic back, but lost DeAndre Jordan to the ankle injury on Thursday against the Kings. He missed a Saturday night rematch. Game time decision. Maybe he comes out there, but he's not going to be able to run the floor. Gallinari, Rivers, and CJ Williams remain out. The Clippers have been handling adversity extremely well, but the Rockets have won 3 straight. They're beginning to figure out how to win games without Harden. He's expected to be back at the end of this week, and they're going to try to win this game for Chris Paul. They're going to try very, very hard. Mbah a Moute and Tariq Black are game time decisions. Hopefully Mbah a Moute does play. He's a big, big help. I just think this is a nice spot. The Rockets are going to try to win this for them, and I'm going to take them.
Okay, -4, -110. That's the current line at the Greek. And Hako Schofield says Rockets low-hanging fruit. Okay, and then on the other game, do you have a pick? Because we got to move on, Jim.
I don't have a pick right now on the Pacers at Jazz, but I have the game broken
down. All right,
down.
so we will break that one down later on at 6 o'clock. Let's move on to NHL very quickly. Of course, we do have a 1 o'clock NHL game. This is also a bet that I did make, Dallas at Boston. You know what I took here, Jimmy the Bag. Boston -1. Boston's been absolutely rolling. Dallas surprisingly good at home, but less subpar on the road. And I thought it was a no-brainer play. I took Boston -1. Jim, what do you think?
I'm on Boston -1.5.
Okay.
I like the play. I mean, I don't think we can even say that they're surprisingly good at home because they were supposed to be a good hockey team, a good hockey team that I didn't like. If you guys remember, I got +500 for them not to make the playoffs. Bruins are 18-3-3 in their last 24, and that 4-3 shootout win over the Habs wasn't very good, but it was off their bye week. We've talked about how these teams are susceptible off of bye week. Tuukka Rask is 12-0-2 in his last 14. Boston's 14-5-3 at home. Their stats across the board keep getting better and better and better. 6th in goals for, 3rd in goals allowed, 9th in power play, 9th in penalty killing. They're getting offense up and down their lineup. Brad Marchand has 41 points in 33 games. Danton Heinen has come out of nowhere. 4th-round pick. Come out of nowhere, 31 points in 37 games. 40-year-old Zdeno Chara is a team-leading +21 and plays just under 24 minutes a game. I did not expect that he was capable of continuing that kind of a play. He did not look this good last year or the year before. It's unbelievable and just a wonderful, wonderful display as a 40-year-old. The Stars are coming off their bye week, 4-1 loss to the Avalanche. They have questionable character on this team. Kari Lehtinen will be in goal tonight. He's not trustworthy. 5-5-1, 2.59 goals against average, 901 save percentage. They just put Mark Mathot, a very important big stay-at-home defenseman, on IR to rest a knee injury. He was a big, big part in the Ottawa Senators than their run last year, and now he's on Dallas, and it's a big loss for them. They continue to get worse in every statistical category. 13th in goals, 13th goals allowed, 14th power play, 17th penalty killing. They're just 8-11-2 on the road. I like this spot. I have not had a chance to get many puck lines in over the last week or so, week and a half or so. This is one I like.
All right, so I'm going to take them two ways, on the first period and the -1 line. The first period line, money line, Boston -135 at a bunch of places, and I'm taking them on the -1 line. The money line part of that, -150. Puck line part of that, +195, and Jim's going to take Boston on the puck line, +195. I'm definitely in agreement with that one, and I bet it, and Triple Beam says, Pete, Bruins money line -154. Is that a no-balls play? No, Jim, Triple Beams, that was not a no-balls play. That was a bet. I made it, and it was a play that I was going to give for sure. MVB SportsBook says Bruins are on fire, all in caps. All right. McRoxer says, as Bobano would say, Carey, let him in. He wrote that, but he doesn't seem like he's got that kind of comedy chops. That's a good line there. Carey, let him in. All right, so let's move on. Jimmy the Bag. What else do we have? Anaheim, Colorado. Let's go to San Jose and L.A. L.A.'s lost a bunch of games in a row, but a little bit forgivable each one. I was thinking L.A. might be a sneaky play here.
That would be a sneaky play, and I'm curious what line you would get on that.
Well, I bet this one. I would take it at the -1 line. The money line part is -124 right now. Puck line part is up in the +240s or 230s.
It's an interesting thing. We've seen that they played 3 times, and I have all the scores here somewhere. Yeah, LA won the first match 2-1. And then San Jose's won the last 2-1 and 2-0. I mean, that's just the way these guys play.
Yeah, so the under is obviously sort of like no-brainer play on this one as well.
Yeah, but I'm not going to take it at this point.
Either,
it just doesn't. The line's going to be just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if we can get 5s, I'll take the over. But maybe I won't even do that. You know, that's just there's not a good line on that spot. Sharks are coming off a wild come from behind 6-5 overtime home victory over the Coyotes. Win snapped a 3-game losing streak. Brent Burns is now playing better, but he's still a -18, and he's playing quite well. 33 points in 41 games. I think he had 1 or 2 points in the first 17 or 18. Logan Couture continues to play well. 17 goals, 14 assists in 35 games to lead the team in scoring. Their special teams are very good. They're 5th in the league on the power play, 4th in penalty killing. And we went over the scores. Kings are coming off a 4-2 loss to the Ducks on Saturday night. It was their 3rd straight loss. They've now lost 6 of 10. Jake Muzzin has been out the last 2 games. He's a big. I mean, this guy was on Canada's team. You know, if the Canadian Olympic team was on this year, Jake Muzzin might be on that team. He's been out the last 2 games with an upper body injury. He's back practicing. He's a big reason for the Kings not playing well. Trevor Lewis is now questionable after taking a couple of huge hits from Jared Bull on Saturday night. Yeah, these guys play with a lot of emotion when they play each other. There's a lot of rivalry. It's a tricky spot. I'm going to leave it alone right now. Let's see. Jansen Bonzone likes the under on the Kings game. I get it. It makes sense. I mean, that's just the way they generally play each other. But the line on the under would be what is the line?
5.5 minus 135. We got to get to college basketball. We got to finish up NHL here.
Yeah,
what do you want to do here?
It.
Okay, then Anaheim, Colorado. Colorado, of course, won a bunch of games in a row. They're really rolling right now. You know, obviously that's a good feeling with this team. They're going to want to keep it up. Anaheim, not a bad team, but now they go on the road, and Colorado's a home dog. I bet that one on Colorado is a home dog as well. What do you think, Jim?
Well, what is the line now with Colorado?
105.
Wow, the Avs won 6 straight. First time in 4 years. They lost Semyon Varlamov. Bernier's come in and looked great. He was just awarded NHL Second Star of the Week. It went 3-0, allowing just 3 goals on 54 shots. Nate McKinnon keeps playing great. Second straight All-Star game. 5th in the league in scoring with 53 points in 42 games. Colorado Avalanche offense now 5th in the league, averaging 3.3 a game. Their special teams are very good. 10th in power play, 2nd in penalty killing. 2nd in penalty killing really shocked me. Ducks are 6-3-1 their last 10. They're healthier than they've ever been all season, although they just lost Andrew Cogliano to a 2-game suspension for a blindside hit on young Kings forward Adrian Kempe. But, you know, Austin Guy says money coming in on Avs. Searcy says, I always like the Ducks. Lou Chase Fox says, yeah, Ducks have a good chance for sure. You know, Jin Rummy says Kings have thin value according to my model, but Sharks has good record in LA. Mr. Cloudkicks is really liking the Ducks money line and the under. I found this a tricky game as well, and I'll spend more time with it on the afternoon. Right now, my only play on the NHL... Oh, no, I have a play on the late game right now, but my first play is the Bruins minus 1.5, and I'm leaving these 2 California games off.
Okay, I will leave it alone as well. And then the Islanders-Montreal, you have a play on that one, Jim. What would you like to do?
Yes, I'm going to take the over in this game, even though it's at 6. It doesn't concern me. The Islanders are playing really well, and I don't see how that can actually continue on the defensive end. Boychuk is out again with the lower body injury, and Calvin DeHaan is now getting season-ending shoulder surgery. When they started losing all those games, and I was saying fade them, because they were losing 2 of their top 4 defensemen, now they're back in that same situation. But they're coming off that 7-2 victory over the Rangers, where Matthew Barzal had his second 5-point game of the season. He leads the rookie scoring race with 44 points in 44 games. And the Islanders have a ton of injuries. They just saw Casey Cizikas left the Rangers game with a hand injury. And now he joins Josh Bailey and Andrew Ladd with injuries there. We already talked about their defenseman injuries. The Canadians have registered a point in 3 straight games. This is their final game of a 5-game homestand. They're 2-1-1, not that bad in this homestand. It will be their 4th game in 6 nights, which leads to less defensive responsibility, I feel. Pacioretty, Brendan Gallagher lead their team with 24 points apiece. They'd be 7th on the Islanders in scoring. I like the over here. I think there's going to be goals, and I just don't have the faith to back either of these teams, but I do think that the red light will be going on.
Okay, so 6 minus 110 is the best line we can give you. And actually, you know what? I made a decision. Jin Rummy says he has the Kings have a thin value in this one. And look, I bet that one. I am going to take LA, but I'm not going to take them on the -1 line, just on the money line, minus 124. That's the current best line at Pinnacle. LA Kings minus 124. All right, so let's review all the picks that we've given so far, and then we'll move on to college basketball. I do have a bunch of picks. I've already tweeted 3 out. Jim is on in NBA. Houston -4, Cleveland under 234.5, Miami +1, Detroit -2.5, Washington under 215, Memphis -2.5, and the Nets -2.5, and the OKC game under 209. And in NHL, he's on the Montreal game over 6, and Boston puck line +195. My picks have been in the NBA, Charlotte Detroit under 204, and the first half under 104. Nets on the money line -140, and the first half -1, the Washington game under 215, and the Atlanta Spurs game first half under 98.5, and the full game under 205. And in the NHL, I gave the Kings money line -124, Boston first period -135, and Boston -1. All right, let's move on to college basketball, Jim. Look, we don't have time to throw up the college basketball record, even though my college basketball record is still pretty good. I tweeted out 3 picks, Jimmy the Bag, this morning, and those are the lines that I got. Let's see where they moved. I tweeted out Michigan, Maryland at 135.5. That's now up to 136.5 or 137. I tweeted out the Duke-Miami game at under 155. Duke, of course, very high scoring, but Miami very low scoring. That's now down to 153 or 153.5.
Wow.
And I tweeted out Minnesota-Penn State at under 147.5, and that's now down to 146 or 140. Well, actually, the Greek still has 147.5 on that one. But those are three totals plays I definitely knew that I was going to give, and that's why I tweeted them out. No huge line moves on those, but it's nice that I beat them. Again, I did take the under in the Duke-Miami game, and the Michigan-Maryland game is interesting. Let's quickly start with the games before 7 o'clock. Butler-Providence, I will admit, I didn't tweet it out, but I bet Providence at -1, and now it's moved the other way. Is someone out for Providence, Jim? What's up with that? Why?
I just think money's coming on, but as far as I know, I'll check the injury report.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, the money's coming on Butler because of their performance against Marquette. I mean, I think, but I'll double check that as we keep going on.
Yeah.
Butler's lost 3 straight tough games before their big 93-84 win over Marquette. We were concerned here on Friday because of the line movement in that game. Marquette went off at +5.5 and didn't cover, and we weren't on them. But it would have been the right play to get on to Butler in that spot. Butler has good guards with bigs that aren't that big. The 35.1 rebounds they average ranked 228th in the nation, but they go small and it works. Their starting 5 is very small. Keelan Martin is small for a 4, and he went off for 37 points and 7 boards versus Marquette. Then they have Tyler Weidman at the 5. And so Providence is 3-2 in the Big East with a road loss at Creighton, home loss to Marquette, and wins at St. John and DePaul, and a home win over Xavier. 6'8", 225-pound leading scorer, senior Rodney Bullock is going to have a big game because Butler will go small, and they'll have to move Rodney Bullock over to the 5, which will pretty much take out Nate Watson, who's the 6'10", 260-pound freshman center for Providence. And at first I was like, oh, he'll be the biggest guy on the floor. And then I was like, no, he won't be he'll be useless, I think, in this game, sadly, just because Butler will go so small, and he's 260 pounds. Senior point guard Kyron Cartwright is a great distributor at 10.7 points, 6.1 assists. 6'7" sophomore Alpha Diallo will be big in this game on the wing, and especially when they go small. He'll move up to the 4 and Bullock to the 5, which I expect will happen in this game. And he provides a lot of length and scoring, 11.5 points per game, 5.7 boards. It's a tricky spot. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Aspire to Elate says Butler has been a cash cow for me. They're playing good basketball. Jansen Bonson loving Providence.
Yeah, I took him at -1, and I really don't like this line movement here, but I guess I will give him. I'll give him on the money line at +108, and that is at Pinnacle right now. I might be on the wrong side there. I hope not, because I definitely bet it pretty big, normal big size for me. So I'll take Providence on the money line +108. Can't really explain why the money's moving in the other direction unless it's just the power model guys, the modelers know that Butler has the edge here. All right, Jimmy the Bag. Let's see what else is interesting from the card. Well, let's talk about Michigan, Maryland. Right, Maryland with a bunch of injuries. They got blown out by Ohio State. Right, but supposedly they are mad at themselves and looking to give it a fight. The line's gotten bet up. It's now 7.5 or 8. Michigan off the big Michigan State win. I was thinking maybe Maryland might be a play here, but of course my play on this one is a pick the over 135.5, which I did bet, Jim.
Yeah, I like it, and that line is moving up. But I still. I'm going to need more time to study the Maryland-Michigan game. The only games that I completely capped were the ones that will start before our show. So I've got the Youngstown, Wright State.
Okay, tell us about Youngstown State, Wright State. And Youngstown State's been covering recently, but Wright State is capable of getting big margin home wins. What's your take on that one, Jim?
And I also do have a play on the UMass Lowell, New Hampshire game.
Let's hear it. If
you're going, sure, I have a play. I'm taking New Hampshire this afternoon. UMass Lowell has lost 5 straight, 9 of their last 10. They are struggling mightily. They're 316th in the nation, allowing 79.6 points per game, and are 322nd in the nation, pulling in just 32.2 rebounds a game. They are very small. Their only big, 6'10", 235-pound sophomore Connor Bennett has been playing less and less and was a healthy scratch for UMBC. Their next biggest player, 6'8", 210-pound Stefan Brovich from Hamilton, Ontario, has been hurt for the last 2 games. Was only playing 9 minutes a game anyways. So that leaves this tiny rotation. 6'7", 225-pounder Josh Gantz is the biggest guy in this rotation. Their leading scorer, rebounder, and assist man is 6'2" senior Jahad Thomas. He's averaging 18.7 points, 7.8 boards, 4.3 assists. He has to do absolutely everything for this team. New Hampshire has done the opposite. They started off terribly. They just won 3 of their first 13 games, but they've come out Great. They've won 3 of 4. They're playing better and better as the season goes on. So I see two teams going in completely different directions. 6'7", 232-pound senior Tanner Leisner leads this team in scoring and on the boards with 19.6 points, 8.2 boards. And he lines up right beside 6'9", 230-pound senior Iba Kamara, who will take advantage of UMass Lowell's lack of size. He averaged 9.9 points and 10.8 boards. I think that New Hampshire is going to continue playing well, and they're going to win a close game. But I like New Hampshire here. I think their size advantage is going to be enormously useful. And I think UMass Lowell just continues to lose. And this is a game I feel pretty good about, and I like it. I've sent it in already. It's one of 3 picks I already sent in.
Okay, -1, -110 is the line currently at the Greek and Heritage. Youngstown State, Wright State. You have anything to say about that, Jim?
Yes. Now I know that Max, for instance, has been hitting with Youngstown, covering these big spreads. Wright State has opened up conference play with 5 straight wins and has won 6 straight overall. They're coming off a tough win at Northern Kentucky, beating the Norse 84-81. They are led by senior guard Grant Benzinger at 15.6 points, 4.6 boards. Second leading scorer Justin Mitchell has left the team for personal reasons, and the Raiders haven't skipped a beat, which is surprising. You'd think with his numbers that he was producing, and they don't have a lot of offense, that it would hurt them, but it hasn't. 6'9", 270-pound freshman Ludon Love leads this team on the boards, 9.1 boards to go along with 10.8 points. And he lines up beside 6'11", 235-pound center Parker Ernstausen. Now, Parker Ernstausen doesn't have very good stats, but he's going to be an absolute giant on the court. Youngstown is so small. They're tiny. They have a ton of guards that they switch in and out. So against Detroit, who is missing, again, key players, they were able to not get beaten up on the boards because Detroit was missing their Chapman, I believe his name is, their best rebounder. The 2 guys they count on for boards are 6'7", 185-pound junior Devin Haygood and 6'6", 230-pound freshman Naz Bahanan. My worry here is... and then Max is saying yes, talking about Justin Mitchell being out. My worry here is just that Wright State gets out to a big lead, empties the bench, and Youngstown State comes in and covers. And because of that, it's such a big spread. I'm laying off this game right now. I can understand. I can make decent arguments for both sides, and when I can do that, I just let it go.
Okay. What you have anything to say about Maryland, Michigan? You're going to give a pick on that, Jim?
No, I just had those 3 games. The games that start before our show.
Okay. All right. So as far as the other games are concerned, here's one pick that I was on the borderline about tweeting it, and I should have done that. And it is Oklahoma State. I bet them at +6. I was borderline going to tweet it out, but I didn't think it would move between then and now, and it definitely did move. It's down to 4.5. Or 5. So I will take that one. Oklahoma State +5, -110. That's the current line at the Heritage and the Greek and Bet365. I bet it at +6. I'm annoyed at myself if this lands on 5 or 6. I'm going to be annoyed. But I liked Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State might have turned a little bit of a corner recently when their coach chewed them out, and I think they should be able to keep this one close. And I was also going to take them on the first half, which also is going to burn me because I could have tweeted it out at 3, and now it's down to a 2.5 market wide. Have to decide if I want to give that one out on the first half or not. But I'm definitely going to give Oklahoma State +5 -110 on the full game. I was also leaning Illinois Chicago, although that one has moved. It was opened at 3 or 3.5. Now it's up to 4 or 4.5. And Wisconsin Green Bay, a home dog to Wisconsin Milwaukee. I've had a lot of success fading Wisconsin Milwaukee this year, as our regular viewers have seen. And now they're a road favorite against Wisconsin Green Bay, and Wisconsin Green Bay is now an even bigger dog than they were early on in the day. They're now up to 3.5. It looks like it's even might be headed up to 4 some places. So I'm not exactly sure about that. I was also leading Illinois against Nebraska. We know Nebraska has that big guy out, which Jimmy the Bag did not deter him from taking them against Penn State in their last game, and that they did cash with him. But I was thinking that Illinois might have a little bit of spunk in them, and I like them at 5.5. Now it's down to a 4.5 or 5, and I will give that one as well, just in case it moves even more. Right now, I will give Illinois +5 -110. That's the current line at the Greek and Heritage. Again, if that one lands on 5, I'll be annoyed because I would have had a win with it as opposed to a push. But I'll take that one. Kansas against West Virginia is very interesting. That line is headed way up. It was 4.5 when it opened. Now it's up to 6 or 6.5. Kansas also often doesn't do well against West Virginia, and this year is looking like a particularly strong West Virginia version and a particularly vulnerable or lack of cohesiveness lack of cohesion, Kansas version. Let me see. Other games that I was thinking
There's
about. Go
one
ahead.
thing I just want to bring up. Our man SM, who is first time talking on our chat, he's going to be at the game, Duke Miami game tonight. And he's going to wager on it. So he wanted to, if there was any more talking. You were saying.
I took the under. I tweeted it out. I bet it at 155. I tweeted it out, I think, at 155 and a half or 155. I don't remember which, but it's now down to about, let's see where it is right now. It's now down to 153. Heritage 152 and a half. The best line right now is 153 and a half. So that's gone down since I tweeted it out. Again, it's just a matter of styles here, and I do think that that Miami will be able to hold Duke down in terms of the pace. Last time they played, it was very low scoring, so I'm hoping that we'll see the same thing again. I bet the under. That was a play I liked enough to tweet out, and again, I've added Providence on the money line, which might be the wrong side because, again, that line, I bet that one at -1. It's now +1.5. Oklahoma State, I got that one at +6. It's now +5, and Illinois, I got that one at 5.5, and now that's +5 market wide. And other plays I'm thinking about giving, maybe tweet them out or wait till the 6 o'clock show to discuss them more. Wisconsin, Green Bay, +3.5 as a home dog against Milwaukee. Illinois, Chicago, +4.5 as a home dog to Oakland. And I guess that's pretty much it. I was also thinking about Mercer as a big favorite over Chattanooga. Chattanooga can easily get blown out on the road. Not a good team this year. And Mercer is coming off a big home blowout win. And I think they might get another one here. So I'm leaning Mercer as well. And that's it. That's it. As far as totals are concerned, nothing else that I'm really leaning towards. Let me just see if there's anything that I was thinking about. Not really. Not really, Jim. Not really, Jim. What, comments coming in? What? So funny, someone's making fun of me? Let me go to the chat. I have access to this shit too, you know. What's so funny? Let's see. What? Where's the comment? I don't see any comment that... Oh. Aspiratoy latte. Audrey Hepburn called and she wants her blouse back. No, that was a funny one. I'm not going to give her sarcastic. That was pretty good. I think I look pretty cool here. Only with the black undershirt, though. Would not wear this with a white shirt. It would look weak with a white shirt. With a black undershirt, it looks hip.
Either with Audrey Hepburn for that reason.
Yeah. No, Espiritoy latte. That's a good comment. That was a nice comment. Audrey Hepburn called. She wants her blouse back. I hear you, brother. Wow. Barham Dog Jenkins likes my big play Oakland -3. See, that line doesn't make sense to me. I was thinking that I'm not convinced that Oakland should be. Jim, why don't you? You're going to have time to look into these games, right?
Very much so.
Okay, two we really want you to look into.
Yeah.
Oakland and Illinois, Chicago. Should Illinois, Chicago be a home dog here? People were discussing this game in the comment section earlier on. Why? This guy just said Oakland -3 is his biggest bet. Why is Illinois, Chicago a home dog here? And then secondarily, similar vein, Wisconsin, Green Bay. Line is moved against them. I'm thinking Wisconsin, Green Bay is the play. Why should they be a home dog here?
Well, I've lost on fucking Green Bay last 2 games in a row, and that's not going to make me afraid to make this move, but I'm going to study this game. I know this team pretty well. My man Max came in to say that Green Bay is a bunch of cocksuckers. Yes, we're angry and we're hurt. So I'm definitely going to look into that game and have a play for it. Also, our man Sports Have Balls says, I feel about this show the same as Viking fans feel about the end of their game, which is very nice to hear.
Yes, very nice, very nice. All right, Udamborn Ratanafakti said, I missed all the NHL pick, Jimmy. All right, Udamborn Ratanafakti, the main pick we really like is Boston, which goes in about 5 minutes, so you got to get on that one. I'm on the -1 line and the first period line, and Jim is on the puck line, and then Jim also took the over in the Montreal game, and I also threw on the LA Kings on the money line. So there you go, Udamborn Ratanafakti. Those are the NHL picks that we gave. Let's see. El Deano de la Cool says, what's the strongest play today? Man, I don't know, man. I would say that, I just don't know. For me, Boston is pretty strong. And other than that, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm really liking this Oklahoma State game, +5. I got it at +6. I think they turned a little bit of a corner. Baylor is a vulnerable team, I think, to a team that has talent and that is turning a corner. So I'm on Oklahoma State. I'll say that's my strongest play. There you go.
This may blow up in my face, but okay. You know what? No, I think there's 2 basketball games. You know what? I really like the Heat. I really like the Grizzlies, but I think that under 234.5 is just is a gift.
Here you go. Dan Kelly says, Loshak in the bag equals high character guys. Those are the guys Coach wants on the team. Thank you very much, Dan Kelly. Absolutely, because that's true. That's true. If you lie to yourself, you only hurt yourself. And if you lie to others, you can have some short-term success, but long-term, it's a treacherous thing. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dan Kelly. Thanks for noticing. Sometimes I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn, I have good character. I wonder if anyone fucking notices. Well, Dan Kelly just noticed. Thank you very much, Dan Kelly. Really appreciate it. All right, that's about it. Juan Juarez says, thanks again, guys. Love this show. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
everyone. All right, thanks all for all the comments that are really helping us out here. And of course, we'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time, where we will go over the line moves and whatever games are still left on the card. We already went over all the NHL and NBA games that picks that we gave. So far, Jim has only given one pick in college basketball. That's New Hampshire -1. I tweeted out 3 totals, which are on Twitter: the Duke game under, the Maryland game over, and the what was the other one? And the Duke game under, Maryland game over, and I can't remember the Minnesota game under. And I have also added Providence on the money line +108, Oklahoma State +5, and Illinois +5, and that's it. And I might throw on some first halves as well. If there's anything else I'm liking, I'll tweet it out, and we'll be back at 6 o'clock. Thank you guys so much. Paulo Marquez here says, Pete, why SBR don't give you to the value you really have? Paulo Marquez, I don't know, dude. I don't have the answer for everything, Paulo Marquez, but thanks for the comment. Thanks for saying we have a lot of value, and we'll be back at 6 o'clock. Thank you so much.